me or to the board?
To the board. Under constitutional officers.
Okay, if y'all are ready, I'm going to get it started. Rest
Mr. Juniors wanted to know if you were ready. Are you ready?
Yes. Okay, I'm going to call the regular meeting for October in order. And Steve, would you open us with a prayer?
Go ahead and follow this government. Thank you for this meeting. Lord, those who come along, you allow them to be in the meeting at your time. Lord, those we know that you can hold our hand. We ask you, Lord, those who come to this meeting, hold our hand, guide us in the right direction. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen. Okay, we'll go to the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or changes to the agenda? Not, do I hear a motion that we accept the agenda?
Make a motion that we accept the agenda for today.
Second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We had nobody signed up as citizens' comments, correct?
No, sir, we did not.
Okay. All right, we'll go on to our minutes. Have a chance to look at your minutes. In there, it mentions the public hearing we would have, and we did have that meeting and have had one follow up. So Rick should be getting our 5-year plan prepared for us real short. Now, hear any corrections to the minutes? I have a second that we approve these minutes. The motion that we approve them.
I made the motion.
A second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Okay. And that was for the September 28th meeting. Okay. Our next item is our financial report. Do you have any questions about the budget? Do y'all hear a motion that we accept the financial report and authorize Lori and staff to continue paying our bills as we've indicated?
I make the motion that we accept the financial report and authorize Lori to continue to pay the bills.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right. Now we'll go to old business. Lori has indicated, and I didn't see his truck down there. Ben is out today. I did get the message from you, though, that we still have not gotten a second quote. Was that correct on that gate? And we're talking about the gates that we had asked him to get some quotes to put up down at the airport. So we will table that till November. We need to go ahead and get that done. Okay. Our next item is the Division of Family and Children's Services. We had some vacancies of a couple of folks that we needed to replace. Lori had some difficulty in getting the actual credentials, but we have those now, and we also have several names.
Yes, sir. In the stuff that's laid in front of your books, Mr. Steve, where that budget part is, you should have one that looks like this. That lists your credentials. They have to be a pediatric healthcare provider, appropriate school personnel, emergency responder, law enforcement personnel, private child welfare service provider, alumni of the child welfare system, mental health provider, former foster parents, and leaders within the faith-based community. And you have a list on the next page of all of the people who responded to our Facebook post.
It's right behind that, Jimmy. Yep.
I see.
Oh, okay.
I didn't see them all.
Oh, okay.
there's 12 people on this list. One of them, I put on here, Mr. Jimmy asked me to add, but I didn't have any contact information for Ms. Burks. So I've had no communication with her. All of the rest of the people on here I have had communication with, and they are all willing to serve.
I mean, do we?
You need to appoint two.
Now, we need to turn this over to the Personnel Committee and Lori and let them, because we don't really have the credential, I mean, their bios with them. So we'll probably need.
Appointments are not really personnel, they don't really work for the boards. But that's a good place to start.
Well, I just hate for us to have to sit here and kick around
Right, yeah.
12 names.
That's right.
So, Steve, would you and Wesley and Lori go over these, and maybe when we come back, make a recommendation the two y'all want us to appoint? Yes, sir, two of them. That'd be, okay, that'll be in November. All right. At least we've got some names to work with this time. Okay, the next item is, if y'all recall, about a meeting ago or two, we discovered that the county owns the paved road, short paved road that goes between the Huddle House and the filling station and back to the motel. And they had some serious holes in the road, and we've gotten those fixed. Now we need some suggestions for a name to name that road. Very short road through there. I did get one. Lamar sent an email back telling us he wouldn't be here today, and he suggested we name it either Phillips Drive or Phillips Lane. I don't.
Who you calling that piece of property?
Phillips.
Well, that's what we need. That's what I was just thinking.
That's why he gave us those names.
Whoever owns that piece of property, that's what we need to name, Phillips Road or whatever.
I don't think I knew the gentleman, but Lamar said most people would know him as Jawbone Phillips. But the name still doesn't ring a bell with me.
I think that Lamar made her with the city to name it Phillips Road. You want to name it Phillips Road or Phillips Alley? You don't go all the way through.
Dead ends.
Phillips Lane or Phillips Road, doesn't it? Yeah, either one of them.
Phillips Lane.
Okay. Phillips Lane. All right. You make that a motion, Steve?
I made that motion.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Okay, so we're going to need to get that on our 911 and all too.
Yes.
Okay. The next item is an ordinance, and at the last meeting we had a session about the cell tower that we looked at out there on 82, and as Tommy pointed out to us, at that point we did not have an ordinance or anything that might cover things we would like to see done. And we tabled it so that we could all look at it till today. Do we have any changes on this, or do we want to go ahead and approve it?
It's not going to cause us any problem. I'll make a motion that we go ahead and approve what we want to do.
Okay.
The problem is with having no regulation at all.
Have we been having any regulation?
No, you remember, Ben just kind of sprung that on y'all. We didn't have any criteria to say whether we get approved or not approved. And so Ben, after that call, asked us to put together something. If you didn't want to deny one, now you've got no way to do it. This will give you an opportunity. You wouldn't have to, but it would give you an opportunity to deny it if it didn't meet the kind of loose criteria here, because frankly, the federal government and the state has kind of stepped in and preempted y'all on most things that have to do with communications, mass communications, and internet and stuff like that. But I think y'all ought to do it. We may have to amend it. This is a kind of a new area. It's constantly changing. So if you do that, at least a good start.
You had a motion?
Yeah.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay.
We put one of them, power whip over there, was low. So, I don't think we can operate.
This will just give us something to work with. Kind of a shock, that last one was kind of a shock to see where it was actually at.
Right.
Right in front of the nursing home out there. I don't think it'll cause them any problem, but okay, well, we'll go on to next. Any other old business? One more old business. Okay, I was at the government center the other day, and it was pointed out to me again, and I wandered around there and went around the building and inside, and Bernard is working on getting those letters fixed. They're about to fall off the wall inside the Welcome Center, and y'all are talking about maybe a little change in the arrangement, what's up there. But the other thing is, we've been sending our guys up there to mow it. I don't think there's any big complaint about the actual mowing. But if you go and look at the flower beds, we have no care there at all. No pine straw, the trees that should have been pruned were, our shrubbery's not, and we've got weeds and vines growing in the flower bed. We talked about this before, and we decided to hold on since we'd hired a couple of people and see if they couldn't take care of it, but it's not happening. And
to me, I think it's really be overlooked. And I think the guy needs to be known that they need to go in there and do this because it's still part of the county, not just cut the grass, but take care of the flower beds and pine straw and all that good stuff. I think they need to be told.
okay.
That's what they job before they see anything different. I think they need to be told to do it while they're in there.
Okay, so from what we had tabled any kind of action on these estimates before to try to let them do it. Is that, I understand maybe you want to continue doing that, but
I want them to be told that what they got to do when they're down there. Don't just cut the grass and leave the flower bed unattended.
okay.
I think we talked about it the last time with the road department guys, but I'll call Ed again and talk to him again about it.
Because it needs it pretty bad right now. Okay, so we'll table any vote on the mowing bids, and we're going to talk with the crew and see if we can't do a little better job with our in-house.
The next time you come, they can't do a better job, then we'll go ahead and get somebody to do it.
Okay, because it does look pretty bad. All right, any other old business? We go to new business and the original service board member, Wesley, I think you have.
I'm on that board, but recently I have not been able to attend because of my job responsibilities. And they are requesting, as a matter of fact, Mr. Steve was on that board, and I think because of his responsibilities, he were not able to attend. So we've been kind of slack on attendance. So what they are requesting, and I'm obligated with my job until December, so I can't attend the meetings as we should. But they are requesting that we appoint someone else to serve on the board. And I talked to Mr. Allen, and right now I think he's not ready to make a decision because of some prior responsibilities that he has. But they also said we did not necessarily need to have a board member or a commissioner. We could get a reliable person out in the community that would report back to us, give us the information that is shared. So depending on what route we decide to take, if we don't have a board member that's able to attend the meetings in Atlanta and Columbus, we can go ahead and appoint someone from the community that would report back to us. So if Mr. Allen is not able to make a commitment, and I think Mr. Steve is not, and I haven't mentioned it to Mr. Lamar, but they need a person kind of right away.
I was, the reason why I got out of it because I had lost my leg. I was having a problem with the leg.
Right, I understand.
And I got out of it because I couldn't go back and forth driving with one leg.
And I don't think they only meet quarterly, so it's not like we're going every month. But as I said, because of my job responsibility, I'm just not able to go to Columbus during the time that they have a meeting.
Well, let me get my thinking cap back on the restaurant, and I think I might just take a tour of them. If you know, if one of us can't go, I can go up there. I don't know what they still need.
What was she requesting, Miss Bella Dorsett? Miss Bella Dorsett, she was requesting.
If I can't, I mean, if we can we appoint one of the ladies to go?
If someone is willing to do it.
One of the ladies go.
And as I said, they only meet quarterly, full time a year, and I don't know though.
Only thing that reason why I stopped because I was having a problem with the lady and I couldn't attend the meeting as I supposed to. So I stayed out a long time, and I enjoy going to the board every time I went because I always bring stuff back. I wouldn't let them take too much away from customers. If you don't be up there to talk about what needs to be done for that you won't get.
Right.
Steve, what about, and just listen, because I know you had gone previously, I was suggesting that we just appoint Laurie temporarily.
Yeah, and if things go as planned, I will be able to resume the position after January.
Okay. So I'll make that a motion that we appoint Laurie as our Enrichment Service Board member.
That's it.
A second, okay. And with that, we'll leave it open, Wesley, if you want to move back in there, or Steve, however y'all, but this will let us get somebody up there too.
Exactly.
Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Our next item is our election agreement. Do you want to address that anything? I think we've gone over it and over and over it.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I didn't do this. I'm not sure where it comes from, and it's not required under the law. It's not even provided for. But you have a joint board. The only election agreement is required if you had a city split between two counties. But if y'all choose to sign it, you can. I don't know that it hurts anything particularly, except it's not necessary, as you know, wasn't contemplated when we drafted the joint agreement. But I don't know where it comes from. The two cities did sign it because Ms. Thompson told them she wasn't going to order their ballots unless they did so. And since it didn't hurt them, they went on and did it to avoid the controversy.
And when she presented these contracts to us, she wanted me to sign it after the last meeting we had downstairs, and I told her that normally speaking on something like this, it came before the board and y'all approved a signature on it. And so I asked her to get this back to Laurie for us to talk about it today, but I wasn't aware of it at all until she brought it up to us that we needed to sign this. And the indication was that she wouldn't order the ballot. The reason the two cities went on is she indicated she would not order their ballots for this election if they didn't sign this contract.
Which I think would have been another violation we'll talk about of the State Board of Election rules. I think everybody just did it, but to keep that from happening.
Let's feel this from the board.
By signing the agreement, what obligations are we under?
Not really anything. There's not really anything in there that any different from anything. It's just not out of order is what it is. So I don't really think it hurt you, but it's kind of an affront to y'all, and to me, and to the cities, I think, the way it was presented. I mean, it's kind of related to the next item, really, we're going to talk about here in a second.
Right.
If the other parties have signed it, I don't see why we should sign it if it has no direct impact on us.
Not really. I mean, it kind of divides up the legal fees a little bit. If you, but I don't think that's good, right?
What you mean by the big
Well, let's see. You know, there's a. We've had here are. This is the one we're going to talk about. It's the fourth time we've been up to state board of elections. Each time it probably costs us $5,000 or $6,000. And we have to go up there twice to defend the county. Let's go back. I'll read that to you. That section.
That 5.
Section 5, the county shall not be financially responsible for any liability resulting from furnishing any service in the form of legal opinions or defenses in connection with any litigation arising by reason of the election. All legal services and defenses of litigation required by the board or persons arising from the aforementioned elections under this contract shall be furnished by the city attorney for the city, which is also me, of course. Should the city attorney for any reason fail to provide the legal service referred to paragraph, the superintendent shall have the authority to engage the Randolph County Legal Department at the expense of the city, provided, however, that all requests for legal assistance from the county from the city attorney to provide such service shall be communicated. In writing before the city will be obligated for any legal services under this paragraph. Further, that failure of the city attorney's office to respond to a request hereunder within a reasonable time shall be deemed to be a refusal to furnish some services. The council notify the city in writing. And so it kind of sets up a system where if the city said we're not paying for that, then y'all will pay for it and bill the city, and then that set up a controversy there. If they say they're not going to pay for it, then you've got to argue with them about it.
And then when I was responsible on the county.
Yeah.
And now I'm still not going to.
Yeah. Ultimately. So, y'all want to do this to get through this city election. Other than that thing, I wouldn't worry about it, but some understanding needs to be had with the Board of Elections about what we're doing here. We're constantly in either court or for the Board of Elections in Atlanta because of violations of the election code.
Any other questions? What I need is there's actually 2 copies here. One of them is for Cuthbert, one of them is for Shelby. And without y'all's vote and approval, I'm not going to sign. I think this is a board decision, not mine.
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
I think that's just for the electoral board decision, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the electoral board decision needs to handle that. But we want to get out of it as much as we can.
Well, y'all asked me to create that joint board, and I did, and that was to do that, but it hasn't worked out that way. We're still embroiled in controversy. I don't think it hurts anything particularly. It's just kind of not necessary other than little things. The 2 cities, the mayors, as y'all know, the mayors, Chairman B. She told them she wasn't going to order their ballots until they signed it, so they to avoid any problem with conducting the election. They asked me, will it hurt us? No, so they signed it because of that. The ballots have to be ordered within a certain time. I'm sure they've already been ordered now. They have to be, I believe. But the code doesn't provide for this. Like I said, think y'all can sign it, and I think that some understanding needs to be had somewhere about where we're going from here. We continually are in it. If you look up at that code section, the first we have 21-2-45C, that authorizes a contract, as I said earlier. That's a narrow reference to a city that's in 2 counties. Arlington, for example, the city that's closest in 2 counties. It's in both Calhoun and Early County. They would have to do it in that case. Pavo's another, there's several in Thomas County, Brooks County, Warwick. Anyway, if it gets y'all past the election, I certainly am not going to argue not to do it. The first question I had was, Paul asked me to drop by there. I was coming back from here, so I did. He handed his contract. You do this? I said, no. I don't know where it comes from. And I still don't know where it comes from.
That's what I was saying. Who drafted this? We don't.
I've got no idea, Commissioner.
But the mayor of the city of Cuthbert had signed this. Mayor Watley had signed it, and also the mayor of Sherman had signed it. So, in order to go ahead with, like you said, this election, I think we ought to go ahead and sign it and put it beyond us and just check it out and see what's happening down the road.
That makes sense to avoid any further inactive issue with the State Board of Elections for her not holding the election, but it is not required under the code.
Need a motion?
Your motion?
Yeah, I'll make that motion that we go ahead and authorize the chairman to sign off on this with agreement.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'd second.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye. Did you get all the votes?
4-0 or 3-1?
Just 3-1. If I don't know who else didn't vote. Okay, and I think the message we need to convey to them also, unlike Tommy, when they handed me, and actually it's a contract, it ain't written as an agreement, but it winds up being a contract. But I thought our legal actions came through our attorney here, and for him to not have any idea where we got something that he should have done doesn't sit right. Because he can't explain it to us if he didn't do it. All right, but we voted to go ahead and sign both of them. All right, the next thing we'll go to is the settlement. Tommy, you want to take up there?
Mr. Chairman, this is related to that. This is has to do with the special election of sheriff, and this is an action against Thompson. Style of case was the Randolph County Board of Elections and Senator Thompson. The violations here that we're talking about, that there was, we accepted an absentee ballot, 2 of them without the electoral signature. As y'all know, when you fill out one of those things, it's kind of a sensitive process. You got to sign it. And then another one failed to write when it received for 27 absentee ballots. The most egregious one is Ms. Thompson, I think, unilaterally, without request, mailed out 52 absentee ballots. There's an extensive process. You go in and make an application for an absentee ballot, and these were just mailed out to various people in the community, and then a poll officer failed to sign his or her name or initials on a certificate for 62 electors. So these were pretty bad offenses. We've talked about this before, and the more we get, this is let's say we had one in like 2008, 2 in 2008, and one in 2012, and then this one in 2013. It takes them a long time to process them. But our fines keep getting higher. And this is $1,500, and we negotiated a settlement with them for $1,500, and that's what's before you today. Well, no, I don't think we ever, I think we discussed it and they told us that they were not ready for us to pay the money yet. So there were some other things. They stay way behind, way behind state board of elections. But I don't think we ever voted to authorize $1,500, did we? You did, we did talk about it. We talked about it.
To pay them that $1,500.
Y'all didn't authorize the check. You voted to, in your prior meetings, you voted to offer the $1,500 settlement and agree to it.
I thought we voted to pay that $1,500.
Not that I'm aware. We can check the minutes, but we've got the check written out ready for y'all to sign. We were just waiting on y'all to authorize payment.
I thought we already had them made the settlement. I thought we had voted to pay the $1,500. I mean, let's have voted on it. It needs to be this something that I'm thinking that already done been happening.
It's not on the record though.
No, sir.
Whatever happened, we did discuss it pretty extensively.
It was all, I think it was all discussed in executive session.
Oh, really?
Because at that time it was pending litigation.
Okay.
So this is included today to indicate what?
You need to authorize payment of the $1,500. Everything was done in executive session because it was pending
I thought
litigation.
we came out and did that.
Not to my knowledge. I can check and make sure, but
We talked about it. I thought we came out and we did
do you remember?
that.
I do.
Well, it's not on the record, we really need to do it again. It's,
I'm thinking that it's already been settled.
well, it's settled. We went up there and negotiated a settlement agreement, which we didn't have to do, except that it was clear after we looked at it, all these things happened. I mean, we looked at the ballots, looked at the 52 that was sent out, and all that. All these were violations, and the election board considered particular facts included within this floor and finding facts and hereby orders that responded cease and desist further violation of the election code, hereby publicly reprimands the respondent, Randolph County Board of Elections and Registration, further orders the respondent, Randolph County Board of Elections and Registration to pay $1,500.
And we couldn't pay the $1,500 until we got their agreement to it.
They had, right, they had to take the consent order and take it back before the Board of Elections to make sure that they accepted, and then we need to pay them within 60 days of that.
Right.
We're in that 60-day period now. I mean, the orders, not you, it orders the Board of Elections and Registration to do it, but you know, all their money comes from you, so.
And I also think that during our discussion, that I recall, we discussed the findings or the penalties, and these were, I think we said these were kind of common among other counties that we were talking about. They're not extraordinary, but we don't like for them to happen, but they were just not out of the ordinary.
Well,
We discussed
probably
that.
3/4 of the violations that when you go to one of those meetings, is with some abuse of the absentee ballot. Where this one is a little different from others. Usually you get 2 or 3, and we got 75. You know, different kinds of violations. I think the most interesting of which, I don't think the reason to find it so high, because usually it's $200, $300, $400, $500 is the mailing out of the 52 unsolicited absentee ballots. I think that's what they're worried about. That part is a little unusual, but absentee ballots, you're quite right, are common because it's so complicated.
Right.
That's a common violation and a point of abuse. You know, there's a bunch of talk about election abuse and all that sort of stuff, about whether you'd have a picture ID and all that. And I talked to Chris Harvey, from time to time, and I said, you know, man, y'all can do what you want to, but if you want to stop abuse of elections in Georgia, you need to work on absentee ballots.
I agree.
And
I agree.
So I have never seen any problem in any of the places that I represent with somebody trying to vote because they didn't have a picture ID. It's not a problem. But this is. We have that same problem a lot, actually.
So I think the bottom line to the question here is we have discussed it, knowing we would have to do something with it at some point. Where are we going to direct Lori to? Who's going to pay this fine, and where do we direct her to get the money from? Is that a fair question?
Where you normally contingency fund, or where you normally?
Normally, we try to amend it within the person's budget, the department head's budget themselves. No, sir. We can amend it once we receive payment back from the city. We could use that revenue to amend the expense. We took it out of dues and fees for elections, which over encumbered that line item by $1,395. Once we get reimbursed from the city, we could take that revenue and amend it back to the budget on that line item, if that's what the board desires.
Need a motion to what we're going to do.
I make a motion to what Laura had just said in regards to the source that we're taking from. And
I didn't hear that part. What she was taking from.
We paid it out of the Board of Election dues and fees line item. And once we get reimbursement from the city for the city elections, we can use that revenue to amend her budget, and then it won't come out of contingency. Or we can take it directly out of contingency, whichever you guys want to do.
Okay. I'll go with that.
That's the second.
Second.
so we're taking from dues and fees and we'll be put back in there once the fees come in.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Our next item, we have talked about the situation out there on County Road 183. I went out there and met with Mr. Vada. I think Ed has been out there. And for any of you that have, this must have started 10 years ago, fussing about this road. There's a small road that comes off of our county road out there, and it's also a county road because we've been scraping. There's two, I think, elderly couples in two different houses down this road. And we've tried to maintain this road where they can get in. And I got a call from this Mr. Vaughn and wanted me to come look at what we were doing down there. He was upset. He is an adjoining landowner, and this road actually cuts across the corner of his place, goes down and onto somebody else's place. The people live actually not on his property. The road is in such a precarious location there, and I can just imagine where it got started years and years ago, but the banks are probably, Steve, would you say 10 feet high on both sides? At least. It just slopes right down into the road. Well, when we get a heavy rain, the water comes off the main road, and it uses that road as a waterway or a ditch. And when I got out there the last time, it had completely cut the road into probably that deep and probably a foot and a half, big enough hole you could not bounce across the vehicle. The people that lived back there had taken a cinder block and figured out where one wheel was at, put it in the thing up sideways, and then went over to where the other wheel went across and cut a bunch of bushes and pile them in the thing so they could bump across it and get down to their house. Well, also, and between that and the fact that they had taken the sidearm mower down there and cleaned the edges of the bank because it was falling over where they couldn't even get down the road. So they cut some of that. Mr. Bottom mentions about the timber, pine trees about this big around. that was damaged, and the fact we were getting out on his property. Well, they've got to at least maintain the ditches. Without just major work out there, that road can't get any wider than it is other than the ditches. And they went out there and put a pipe in it. And you see now his concern. He has gone back out there, and I haven't seen it yet since I got the letter, but put posts on where he thinks the side of the road. And his attorney is quoting the fact that we can't widen the road without some process that we have to do. That means we'd be taking the property. Well, I don't think that was the intention of them trying to at least make the road passable. And that has been the argument. Steve, you were here, been with us this entire time about not wanting these people to be able to go down that road.
Yeah, he did not want them people to go down that road. And the people been living that way before he bought the property. And this property had been addressed long before he had bought the property. Now it's got to be a problem with him to not want the people to go through that. My feeling is that he don't really want the people back there. That's my feeling.
How long the road been there?
The road been there ever since people been back there. Been a little after going back there since 2000. You go back and that's the people. There's a big house back in the very end. But that's in my district.
And there's a trailer halfway back there.
Jimmy, I've got a picture. I'll show you.
Don't we supposed to have so many people away from the side of the road at the time?
Well, that's
The
what I
house
saw.
there, the house there, his property. Here. It's like a foot. They're not living on his property. Road comes over on the east side. So if you use some of his land, when it comes there.
Now, this is the people property on this side.
He feels like they're trying to take his property to widen the road.
All you saying,
Great, you know, sometimes dirt roads move when they use change. No real right of way. I see that right of way. It's dedicated to the head. That's a big thing right there.
But the county road maintain the same as the state road, from the center of the road to
Well,
the edge of
that
it.
state road doesn't have any dirt road.
They don't have
that don't have anything to do with it.
Okay.
That's just the road that people get back. You know how people live in the woods.
But you gotta give right of way into the property over there.
They've been like that for 100 years. And how you talking about doing it now, I don't know.
Shall we just call this lawyer and talk about
I
some?
think we do, and I think also maybe me and Steve and Ed need to get together first of next. I'll be gone the rest of this week, but Monday or Tuesday, I'd like for us to ride down there and look at these stakes.
It's probably when you get nice.
As he indicates, he has put up what he thinks is right-of-way stakes to get down the road. Well, if he's got it as narrow as he indicated to me, about one vehicle can squeeze down there. That's all, and there's no way to scrape it. And that's the problem. The road cannot be maintained in the shape it's in.
My guess is the county doesn't have any record of when this property was acquired.
Yeah.
The only way, if that were possible, was to do the proper description, people on it, kind of comparing all that stuff, which would be a lot of work. And then you could figure out where the property lines were maybe, because the property lines could likely include that road. You understand what I mean? Because there was no taking by the county or no dedication.
Other than scraping, though.
Other than scraping.
My understanding that PTA went to the people who buy the property away from them, and they did not want to sell because it's a family.
Or is that like that? Because you know we had other kinds of crops before.
Most of it was as a result of this road.
So is that what?
Yeah. And he indicates in there he's put some stakes up. I think we need to talk with the attorney, and also we need to go look at what he says he's done out there on the ground to make sure where our position is on trying to maintain it. Because Ed couldn't get down it with a motor grader, it was in such bad shape. Okay.
You can't block people from getting to their house. You cannot do that.
No, I agree with you. Okay, so we're going to table this one to the November issue. In the meantime, we're going to get our attorney to talk with us, Mr. Barfield, Cole Barfield, and Steve and I we'll, along with Mr. Ed, the first of the week, going to go down and look at whatever it is he says he's marked. So we'll bring this back to the table in November. Okay. After 10 years, you'd think we'd figured out this one little problem. Okay.
You come up with something.
Yeah. I'll call you. No. Okay, the next item is our quotes for some tires for the tanker. I think Ken was back there too. Lori, did y'all have a comment on?
No, sir, he got 3 quotes, $31.60 from Devane Tires, $32.51 from A1 Tire, and Edison Tire is $35.69.84.
What do you guys for?
They're for the tanker.
Yeah. I'm in a meeting.
This is the 4 back tires off of the tanker that we got from the Forestry Commission. Is that right? The one is sitting. Yeah. This- The 8, not 4. Yeah. Yeah. We have 3 bids. One of them from Randolph County, from the Devane Service, the Randolph County Fire. Another one from McKinsey Incorporated, and the final one is from Edison Tire. The cheapest being the one from Devane Tire.
Chief went to the bank,
And he's local. We have. He does some of our work now.
I'm motion to go to
You
the, go to the Lord.
okay? We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor say aye. And we'll go ahead and he'll probably have to order them, so we're going to need to let him know. Okay. The next item is we wanted to talk briefly about the guideline for the usage of the ag building. Chris, you want to step down here so you can talk just a little bit about it?
What you want me to say, Mr. Jimmy?
That wasn't a good start.
I found the policy for the ag building and it was not typed up. So I went in and typed it up so I could send it to y'all electronically. The Sheriff's Department asked for the ag building towards the end of the month on a Friday and Saturday. And I told them they could have it, and it was my error that I did not ask them what it was for. And then Whitney called back and we were talking about it, and I told her that we did not use it for those purposes, that it had to be for educational or training purposes. And that's kind of how we left it. And then Mr. Jimmy and I talked when we were, I think Mr. Mike Matthews had a lot to do with this building, and it was basically built for livestock, is my understanding. That was way before my time. And it's for educational purposes, and it was to be used for like our ag production meetings and that type of thing. So as the years have gone on, we are in charge of it, and if we need to open it up for more now that we have a bigger facility, we're willing to do that. And I'm going to leave that up to y'all of what we need to do with that.
I'm just curious, what is Saturday music?
A costume party. Help me, Sheriff.
It's
Costume party.
to do a Halloween party for the kids, bring age 4 to 11, and the council wasn't taking them, so we can kind of close them in and keep up with them. So the party will start from like 6 o'clock to 8:30, and it's a costume party. They come out with their best little costumes and get candy. We're gonna have drinks and stuff on there. We're gonna have a little dance contest and stuff like that. That's basically what we're doing.
And I was not aware that Whitney and I were talking, that y'all were right.
Yeah, we had already put it, I thought they already talked about the building. I was really involved in it.
Right.
It was about Whitney, Judge, my lord, they all was with me.
Right.
That's still on the table? that still on the table?
They have, no, they're going to use the
They're going
building.
to use it.
Okay, well, yeah, I was gonna vote that we go ahead and,
Yeah.
allow them to do that.
And I think I had just asked Chris to bring us a copy of this, so all of you know, we ever get a request again or things like this, you know what's guiding Chris in saying yes or no.
Right.
And I was just going by what was in our policy, is what I was referring to.
But I personally think Mr. Mike, as much as he loved to see things go on for the kids, would be disappointed if we thought we were
Right.
a few words we had wrong in here. So, but we do have some reasons why, and one of the main things we felt, and I was going to read this sentence: the building is not intended for private parties or for use by groups that are not active in community, economic development, or youth leadership. And I really think that ought to guide what you're doing right there. But all of you have a copy of it now, and we did speak with the sheriff. They did actually look for an alternative location, but were not able to secure it, so we had already told them to go ahead, but I wanted y'all to know what we had done. So,
And Mr. Jimmy, I think to keep us from this situation, Sheriff, we have this policy, we have this form, and I think what I'm gonna do is just make some copies and bring it, and then when I need it, you can just fax it to us, who's got it, and we can go the times and that kind of thing, to save this from happening again. Because we have the form, we just don't use it. We usually just do a phone call, and then I think that's where it all gets mixed up in the mess.
okay. Well, thank you, ma'am, and
Thank you.
y'all have a big time, Sheriff. I might wear my costume out there.
We're all scared out of
I know. Okay, well, thank you again, Chris. All right, we're going to go to any other new business before I go. Okay, let's go to report from the constitutional officers, and Sheriff, we'll start with you on that.
I say good morning, good morning. That Mr. Jimmy said anyway, his cost and I put on one to Mr. Jimmy. But I brought Kelly in today to discuss our medical issues that we have here from SCM, which is Southern Correctional Medicine. And she's going to tell you pretty much what y'all was asking me questions that she can answer for you, cost and the things that the difference could be in SCM being our medical provider still about the year. Okay.
Good morning, I'm Kelly Thread. I'm from Southern Correctional Medicine. We do inmate health care. That's what we specialize in. We have over 25 counties in Georgia. What we do is we try to provide one contract price for the counties to kind of know what to expect to pay for in medical. We try to keep everything on site. We'll provide the nurse. The nurse will work for us, so it takes the liability off of you guys as a county. The provider, the doctor, the nurse practitioners that come on site for sick call and everything. Mental health, we have a provider that comes on site to do mental health with the inmates. We provide all the medications, except specialty meds that's listed in our contract. Chemo, dialysis, HIV meds, things like that are really expensive that we can't budget for. We provide the dental. We'll contract with a local dentist. We do ask that the county transport some, but we cover the cost for that. Mobile x-rays come on site. If somebody calls and they broke something, then we pay for that. Mobile x-rays come on site. Labs, we cover that. Medical supplies, we cover all the medical supplies that's needed. We handle all the billing. If something has to go off site, whenever a bill comes in, they send that to us. We reprice it at the Medicaid rates, that's required, and we send it to the county and say, or whoever's responsible for paying it. Here's who you send payment to. Here's the original amount. Here's the reprice amount, and makes it easy for you guys. We handle all of that, but everything is for that one contracted price. Not saying that you're not going to have ER visits, but we provide 24/7 call. We have our nurse that's on site and a PRN nurse that takes call. If something happens at 2 a.m. and Joe says he has chest pains, well, the nurse has to return and do an EKG and send that to the provider to read immediately to determine if he's either vaping or needs to go to the ER because of something like that. Our policy is they do have to return within 20 minutes of an emergency. Now, anytime after hours that the nurse isn't on site, the officers can call. We do officer training with all of the officers and say, here's what to look for an emergency. Here's what to call the nurse for. If Joe says he has a headache and wants Tylenol, that's not something that you need to call the nurse for. We do CPR and first aid training with all the officers. We go through all the medical, because they're not medical. Now, one thing that we do, not with the nursing hours, being 8 to 3, Monday through Friday, officers will have to do med-pass. One thing that takes the liability off of the county is that we do the officer training, but also our medications come patient-specific in a sealed packet that says the inmate's name, the date, the time, the medications that are in there, and those are sealed. So when the officer's giving them, they're opening the package, giving it to them, making sure they swallow, and that's it. That takes the liability off of them because we package those medications. So if the wrong medications are in the package, then that's our liability. Of course, if they note that, that's something that we handle. So it just takes, you have Joe come in at 2 o'clock in the morning and the officers call and say, nurse, something's just not right. Do you mind just coming up here and checking them out? Well, that takes the liability off of you as the county. We try to handle everything on site. We don't send people to the ER just to send them out. That's one of our biggest things with all of our counties. If you call our references, they're going to say, no, our ER visits were cut to a minimum. That saves you the money too, because you have a contract price of, X amount of dollars, and that's what you're expected to spend for that year. If there's medications that have to be ordered, specialty meds, we contact the sheriff and say, hey, we have this inmate and this is what they're going to have to take. A, are they in here for anything that we can't get them out for? Or B, it's going to cost you X amount of dollars every month to provide these meds. It's kind of the basics. Do you have any questions?
Those specialty medications, would y'all provide those medications in the packages and we just pay y'all for those?
That's right. We'll just invoice the county.
Okay.
Any other questions? Now, the last time we went ahead and gave you authority to give the 60-day notice.
Yes, sir.
Well,
That's 90 days.
90 days.
It's 90 days.
So,
Yes, sir. And we had talked about a 60-day notice in the meeting.
Right.
So we thought we had longer. It'll run us an extra month. And I talked to Lisa yesterday about that.
And I haven't had time to talk to Dr. Giatti because he's out of town right now. His mother was bad off sick, so he's going out of the country. So I haven't had time to talk to him about anything right now until he come back. But yes, a 90-day notice.
So we don't really need to make a decision until the end of the 90 days.
Well, probably ought to make it a little bit quicker than that, because you gotta get these people in place.
One of the meeting is today,
Yeah,
right
that's
now.
right. You don't have to do it this moment. That's
Okay, that's what I was driving at. Anybody got any other questions?
Has there been any updates to that contract that you had?
No, it's the same.
Okay.
Just change it.
Yeah, your nurse that you're losing, are they already on staff or are they local?
They'll be local. Yeah.
We already talked to the nurse that we have. I showed her the facility the other day when she was here, and she kind of talked to her. If she wanted to stay on staff, she would keep her on staff. But she had to go through some training.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we've given them the opportunity to let them have the notice. And probably November we need
Yeah, I think you need to do it by November.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then we're going to put that on the agenda to vote. I think it's a good idea, but we'll make it official then. That's all right with y'all. Okay.
Just got one more question, and they concerning her. It's concerning another contract that I had. Paytail. I'm still dealing with that Paytail issue. Did you go over that contract?
I did, and that's, I didn't look at it before I came, but I can't remember what the notice was.
I sent it to you. Hold on, I can pull it up on my phone.
Did we notice that we would get that?
No, sir, we did not, because we have to give notice. We've got one more year, I think, left in the contract.
Your contract, remember, Sheriff, we started to do that a couple of years ago. I thought it was, and a good argument that it was multi-year contract shouldn't have been done.
Right.
Of course, now we got a new sheriff. They argued about it, and we decided not to litigate, just to wait.
Okay.
But we can go to court about it. They seem willing to sue.
I understand that. I don't have a problem with that. I just wanted to know because I didn't know. I thought it was a year for year. It's multiple
It
years.
should be a year to year.
Yeah.
You're right about that. What?
I was looking over this thing, been done ever since 2003. Since I've been the sheriff, I never signed a contract.
That's right. Your predecessor
Right.
decided that we didn't look at it, and it should have been a year.
And it's costing us.
A lot of trouble.
Well, it's not costing us. It's costing the people that call the kids. The rate is so high with them, and they don't want to cut no kind of rates with us. We don't have no kind of. They don't give us any kind of service for intel.
Is that right?
They don't record. The forms don't record that we have. So now the DA is hitting us aside the head because of the fact that we can't hear what the inmates talking about when they call the peoples and everything else.
Yeah.
We don't know what they're telling them. And
Well, we can go to war about it, and it may be.
I don't want to call about that, but I need to get out as soon as I possibly can because
Yes, sir.
better companies out there now. Back when Paytel come in, it wasn't too many companies out there doing anything.
I think we've got, as I've already said, one more year on my recollection. All right.
The end of the third term is March 1st, 2019. The time period in which we must give notice to termination is November 1st of 18 through December 31st of 18. Somewhere during that time period, we've got to give them notice to end that contract.
Okay.
I think we could get out of it, but I think it might require litigation to do.
All right. It's going to cost the county money to do that. I'm not going to go in that because it already enough cost on the county. As soon as we can get out of it, I need to get out of that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, any other constitutional officers? Lori, let's see, no. Any commissioners? Got any comments? Okay.
Jimmy,
Yes.
on this, did you contact Harold Jackson down there? I did contact about that. You know what we talked about?
Sheila Pond?
Huh?
The Sheila Pond.
No, I'm talking about down here. Transfer place, we're talking about getting Harold to look into the land part we were talking about back in the back. I never did get a hold of him. I thought that
I haven't talked to him.
about the property that I'll just get a hold of what I call it. Tell me what it called. We wanted to go ahead with it. I wanted to look into it.
Yeah, that was cleaning up the rest back there.
Right.
Yeah.
And we want to know the cause.
Okay.
And I thought that was taken care of, but
It has.
not. Patricia called me yesterday, and I called her, and nobody had said anything. Right. I thought that was taken care of, it happened. So I will call her today and tell her to go ahead.
Okay. He's in and out of here. You talking about Harold, our engineer? Yeah, because he's trying to help us on that Sheila Pond down there.
If you in and out here, I call her today.
Okay. All right. Any other county representative? We'll get to Ken in a minute. Okay. Chris, you have anything else?
We just have, I was going to remind y'all about the forestry meeting. Justice forestry meeting is October 31st. It starts at 11:30. October 31st. We didn't do a handout because we felt like y'all had it from the last meeting, most of the stuff.
Okay.
And the kids play 7th at state, Mr. King. I don't know if I sent y'all an email last night. They actually came in 7th when I finally got all the scores, which is pretty good for the state.
Thank you, Chris. She was talking about the forestry team that they actually went up to the state competition. And I'm proud of the numbers they get out of that because they spend a lot of time getting ready, but what they have to look at is mostly from, say, the fall line down as far as trees and stuff. And there's some 50 or 60 trees they've got to know. How close am I, Jason? How many was it?
I think it's about 60, I think.
It's something in that neighborhood, but there's probably a dozen of those that occur in the mountains or in very North Georgia. So only thing we can do is find a book they can look at a picture of it. Well, when they get to that contest, it's always held in up near Athens or north of here, sometime Rock Eagle. Well, guess which 10 trees they bring for them to have to try to identify. And we fuss with them every year about it. It's rather unfair for our kids who, unless some of us get in the car and drive up there and pick some of them leaves out in the mountains and put them in a refrigerator or whatever, bring them down here, it's difficult for them. So a lot of those they don't know, and that's what they run into. The rest of it, I think they can hold their own with the volumes and insects and pacing and all those. The leaves, and that's a big part of the contest. And we fussed about it, but we didn't get anywhere much. But we'll keep doing it and keep fussing, probably. But thank you, Chris. Lori?
I just got a couple of things. The MR Center called yesterday, and they need a new propane tank for the forklift, and it'll cost $200. Is that all right with y'all for the county to purchase that propane tank for the forklift?
I don't see no problem. They use that for the road.
Yeah.
Okay. I got an update on Pumpkin Creek, Knock Nasty, and Deer Creek from Harold and Jackson. They are fixing to order the survey, which they say will take approximately 2 weeks. They're going to work on the bid documents and submit those to FEMA and then put it out to bid. So they're looking at about 6 weeks. They should have bids ready for y'all to look at on those 3 roads right there.
Knock Nasty?
Knock Nasty, Pumpkin Creek, and Deer Creek.
Okay. The rest we've gone ahead fixing on them, right?
The rest, we're going to get the road department to fix those.
Okay.
I got an email from Michael with Harbin Engineering. Last meeting, y'all requested for him to get additional prices on survey cost. Bryson Langford and Associates had said they would charge us $5,000 for the survey. They went out and got prices from Hal Mills and Associate in Bainbridge was $29.50, and it's on the sheet in y'all's stuff. Nash Engineering is $3,500, and then he called Langford back, and they said they would come down to $3,000 to be in line with what everybody else was charging. So which of those would y'all like me to go? Y'all want to take the lowest bid or the home? Mr. Chambers, let me know if you're ready. It's $50 difference.
Okay, I'm going to call the regular meeting for October
$50 difference.
in order. And Steve, would you open us with a prayer?
Something that would come down to equal that. If you got a policy going with the lowest bid, I think you ought to. But I like the idea of using local people.
Your policy does say that if it's within, I think it's 5%. If it's within 5%, you can choose a local vendor, even though their prices
we'll go to the agenda. Does anybody have any additional changes to the agenda?
Come down to the bid.
Do I hear a motion that we accept the agenda?
Either way, I would rather go with the accept local.
Did you get that?
All those in
Mr.
favor
Steve?
say aye.
Okay.
Okay. We had nobody signed up as citizens' comments, correct?
No, sir.
Okay. So we'll go on to our minutes. We need a motion to go ahead and authorize what to do then, so that we don't, because every day we're pushing back that work. In there, it mentions the public hearing we were having. We did have that meeting, and we had one follow up. So Rick should be getting out
to them and see if they would match the actual lowest bid, which was only $50 difference.
5-year plan prepared for us.
I make that motion.
I say, hear any corrections to the minutes?
Say aye.
Okay.
All right.
Second, that we
And
approve
the
these
next
minutes.
sheet
I mean,
that I put in
motion
there
that
for
we
y'all,
approve.
this one, That, I just wanted to put that in there for your
Second.
information to let you
All
know
those in favor
that
say aye.
considering all the
Okay.
circumstances in September with the storm,
And that was for
they
the
have
September
given us a
28th
30,
meeting.
EPD has given us a 30-day
Our next
extension
item is
on the
our financial
milestones to
report.
correct violations at the landfill. Our original date was October 1st, and with all the storm, we just hadn't been able to get that done. So they did give us that extension till November 1st. No, sir, not the storm debris. They gave us an extension on the violations. We had those violations. We submitted a
You have any questions?
request to EPD. Okay.
You hear a
That was-
motion that we
they
accept
extended
the
that
financial
30
report
days.
and
Just
authorize
so y'all
Lori
are
and
aware
staff
of
to
that.
continue paying our bills as we've indicated.
Yes.
I make a motion that we accept the financial
And-
report and authorize Laura.
November the 1st. Yes, sir.
Second. All those in favor say aye. Okay. All right. Now we'll go to old business. Lori has indicated, and I didn't see his truck down there. Ben is out today. Did get the message from you though that we still have not got the second quote.
Kid, did
Is
you
that
have
correct on that gate? And we're talking about the gates that we had asked him
We
to
have an
get some
inspection and all
quotes to put up down
today,
at the
and I
airport.
have to be there tonight.
We will table that till October November.
Okay.
We need to go ahead and get that done. Okay, our next item is the Division of Family and Children's Services. We had some vacancies of a couple of folks that we needed to replace.
It's a 95 max grant.
Lori had some
We're actually
difficulty in
trying to
getting
apply for this
the
grant, but I
actual
would like to do it
credentials,
and
but
set
we
up
have those
three
now,
ways.
and we also have several names.
Yes, sir.
What we're
In
gonna
the stuff
ask
that's
for
laid
is
in
air
front
packs
of
in
your
a fill station
books,
for the fire.
Mr. Steve,
What we would
for
like
that
to do is
budget
actually
party
try
is,
to get Shell and
you
cover
should have one that looks like
and make
this.
this standardized.
That lists your
equipment so
credentials.
everybody's
They
on the
have
same
to be a
type of life safety
pediatric healthcare
equipment as far as air
provider,
packs.
appropriate school personnel,
So
emergency
what we'd like to
responder,
do
law
first is
enforcement
get with the
personnel,
fire chiefs and make
private
sure
child
all on
welfare
board
service
with,
provider,
all going
alumni
together
of the
and
child
getting
welfare system,
all of our air
mental
packs
health
updated.
provider, former
Because
foster parents,
our air packs now
and
are
leaders within the
2006,
faith-based
they're obsolete.
community.
First of all, the
And you
company
have a
that actually
list
sold
on
it
the
is out of business.
next page
They've been out of
of
business
all
for a
of the
long
people
time.
who responded to
But
our
these
Facebook
particular air
post.
packs that we have a lot of faults. First of all, they don't have a gate to tell you how much air is in it. So when you're in this burning building,
It's right behind
that's a big concern.
I haven't seen them around.
Oh, okay.
Secondly,
There's
There's a lot
12
of
people
that are
on this list. One of them, I put on here,
Just
Mr. Jimmy
have
asked me to add,
blown
but
out
I
all the
didn't have any
cylinders.
contact
so I do not
information.
have enough to put
for
on this
Ms.
truck
Brooks.
that we just got from
Um,
Sanford, Florida. I don't have
So
any
I've had no
action for that
communication with her. All of the rest of the people on here, I have had communication with, and they
They're
are all
about
willing to serve.
$7,800 a piece for an air pack. So, and when you get an air mask and all that stuff in there,
You need to
it's very
appoint two.
costly. So what I would like to do is realize that
Now,
if
we need to
were
turn this
update
over to
these
Personnel
air packs
Committee and Lori
NFPA compliant to the
and let them,
2002,
because
which means
we
they are
don't
not
really
safe
have the credential, their bios with them.
radiological nuclear.
So we'll probably
With
need,
us being within that 50 air miles of Plant Carly, that nuclear power plant,
That's a good place.
we don't have anything to protect us for that. So
well,
what
I
want
just
is
hate for us to have to sit
standard
here and kick around
up. There was
12 names.
2002,
So
2007,
Steve, would you and Wesley and Lori go over these and maybe when we come back, make a recommendation, the two y'all want to go for? Yes, sir, two of them.
I think
That'd be,
that'd be a wiser decision.
okay, that'll be in November.
Mismatch different
All right.
types of
At least we've got
air
some
packs
names to work with this
training and how
time.
they work out there. It's
Okay,
running grants
the next item
all
is,
over the place because
if y'all recall,
we
about
have
a meeting ago,
15-year shelf life
we
on the
discovered
box.
that we actually, the county owns the paved road, short paved road that goes between the Huddle House and the filling station and back to the motel. And they had some serious holes in the road, and we've gotten those fixed.
You're looking at
Now we
cost.
need
Well, we got 8
some
inches
suggestions for a name to name that road.
and
A short road through there.
32.
I did get one, Lamar sent an email back telling us he wouldn't be here today, and he suggested we name it either Phillips Drive or Phillips Lane.
So it's $1,700 a piece. The box are roughly about
Phillips.
$500 a piece. You're looking at $300,000.
That's why he gave us those names.
Just a couple years down the
It
road.
was-
I would like to try and write.
I don't think I knew the gentleman, but Lamar said most people would know him as Jawbone Phillips.
It's just for the county
But
stuff.
the name still doesn't ring a bell
And
to
then
me.
the other way is to try and do regionally, so Shell and Cover, because their stuff is not going to be compliant for C1, and it's probably going to be in the same date range as ours. And I would like to standardize everybody's equipment.
Dead ends.
Before we get into that talk, we're going to have to just make sure everybody's wanting to do that, and then get with you all, get to the table, see about the 5% match, because that's y'all.
Phillips Lane.
Y'all need to.
Okay.
try to
Phillips
handle
Lane?
that. Yes or no.
You make that a motion,
Together
Steve?
on that kind of stuff.
Second? All those in favor say aye.
That's something that,
Okay, so we're gonna need to get that on our 911
but I'd like
too.
to
Yes.
go ahead and
Okay.
get
The next item
start
is
preparing
an ordinance, and at the last meeting, we had a session about the
So we look at it, we need to get our stuff.
cell tower that we looked at out there on 82, and as Tommy pointed out to us, at that point, we did not have an ordinance or anything that might cover things we would like to see done. And we tabled it
Is
so
that
that we could all look
15,000
at
just
it.
on our
till today.
equipment, or on, does
Well,
that include both of the
Do we have
cities
any
also?
changes on this, or do we want to go ahead and approve
That
it?
would probably just, I have to do the math on that, as far as getting the quotes in. I've talked to some vendors,
Okay.
because there's only 2 vendors in this area that actually do warranty and service on air packages, MSA and Scott's. I'd like to get both of them down here to do a demo for both of them, and give us a quote, because if we're doing regional, I'm hoping that it'll give us a better bid as far as that, because the way it works is you get 4 air packs for every engine that's required. So you got to count how many engines are in the county and the 2 municipalities, and every tanker they need to choose. So it just really depends on how many the total number is and what their best line quotes are going to be. Their system are probably not going to change too much. You know, they're right at $40,000 to $50,000 lower end stuff that we're looking for.
Frankly, the federal government.
They can get real expensive, but that's one thing I'm trying to get is that just something that's going to put air in our system that has the capability of doing everything that we need to do. You know, be tested and be able to put in clean air so we don't have to worry about giving disease or infection to volunteers.
New area, constant change. You do that to the police?
Yes.
Grant trying to get that?
Yes, sir.
You had a motion? Do I hear a
But
second?
it opens up anytime now. I don't
Any
know
other
exactly.
discussion?
I mean, they don't kind of give us that.
All those in favor say
But
aye.
it's already late.
Okay.
But they have it. So I know in the next week or 2 or 3, it's going to be, open the grant, but you have a 30-day window for the grant to write it. So we're going to, on our end, try and prepare different quotes.
This would just give us
as far as
something to
getting the
work with.
information up as
It's kind of a
far as
shock, you know,
demographics
that
and
last
as
one
far
was
as
kind of a
the
shock to see where it was
needs,
actually at, right in
that
front
kind
of
of stuff
the,
up now, so,
there's no
that
doubt.
gives you a little time to work on
I
it.
don't think it's causing any problem, but,
Before we made it.
okay, well, we'll go on to next,
No, sir,
any other old business?
Not submitted
One more old business.
in November.
Okay, so what I think we need
Okay,
to do.
I was at the government center the other day, and it was pointed out to me again, and I wandered around there and looked all
But
around the
I would
building.
like for, you all, if y'all
And
talk
inside,
to the
and
cities,
Bernard
you
is
know,
working on
mention
getting
them,
those
see if
letters
they would like
fixed,
to
they're
try
about to
and
fall
even
off the
think
wall
about doing a
inside
regional
the
thing.
Welcome Center, and y'all talking about maybe a little change in the arrangement, what's up.
That way they'll have
The
an
other
idea what
thing
it's
is,
gonna cost.
we've been sending our guys up there and
Take
mow it.
$8
I don't think there's
I
any
don't
big
know.
complaint
That's
about
just-
the actual mowing.
If we
Is to
standardize,
go and look at the flower
if we
beds,
go out there
we
with
have
automatic aids, or
no
we go
care
help each
there at
other,
all, no pine
if somebody air
straw,
packs out, we can get a
trees
bottle
that should have been
of paint,
pruned were, our shrubbery's not, and we've got weeds and vines growing in the flower bed. We
I've talked to
talked
one of
about
them.
this
I haven't
before,
had a
and we
chance to
decided to
get
hold
any
on
issues
since
in
we'd
their
hired a
mind
couple of
right now.
people and see if they
Since we
couldn't
got
take care of it, but it's not happening. And
Well, I've talked to both of them in the past. The only problem we're gonna have, is, they all agree it's a great thing, they all want it, but Shillman is not particularly fond of the MSA, they want to do the Scots, which I like Scots myself. When we're doing a grant, it's really the lowest bidder, that's a federal thing, so, I'm not,
Okay.
I can't guarantee him that that's all he'll put in the Scots. So, I think that's kind of that is a whole
Okay,
up
so
for them, and
from
the sun's
what-
gonna be holding for them.
we had tabled any kind of a action on these estimates
hoping
before
that it's gonna
and
cost
try to let them do it. I understand maybe you want to continue doing that, but
our cost on everything. And if you break that down to the 3 departments, that's $7,000 a piece, which is the price of one.
okay.
But the air packs today,
We
they
talked
have
about
built-in
it the last time
imaging cameras.
with the road
air
department
pack
guys,
have,
but I'll call
pass
Ed
devices
again
as well as
and talk to him again
locators, so
about
that if
it.
that person quits moving, it's got a pack tracker.
Because it needs it pretty bad right now.
Instrument that sits outside and points it right to
Okay, so we'll table any vote on the mowing
I think that today's
bids,
time, society,
and we're gonna talk with the crew and see if we can't do a little better job
that the
in-house.
insurance that they're using now, and it's really dated for firefighters, way more dangerous than it was years ago.
Okay,
That's the first
but
thing
it
I want
does
to
look pretty bad.
talk to you about. The second thing is,
All right, any other old business?
I heard y'all
We
mention.
got a new
ordinance
business
on
and the Richmond Service Board member, Wesley, I think you have.
Y'all put together.
I'm on that board, but
Actually,
recently
the cell
I'm
tower out
nominated
here on
for the 10
82,
because
I've
of my
been
job
talking with the
responsibilities.
state department's office. They've
And
actually
they are
done a fire
requesting,
survey
as a matter of fact,
done.
Mr. Steve was on that
They
board,
actually
and I think because of his
construction
responsibilities, he were not
local
able
fire
to
department.
attend, so we've been kind of slack on
Because I didn't have
attendance.
it to plan. I
So
thought
what they were
feel comfortable
requesting,
just
and I'm
filling
obligated
the fire
in my
bills and
job
saying, go
until
ahead and do it,
December,
but
so
I
I
don't know what they're
can't
trying to do,
attend
so
the
I
meeting
sent their plans.
as you
Send
should,
it to me.
but they are
Tried to
requesting that
ban
we
it,
appoint
because I
someone
tell
else to serve
But I
on
talked to Glenn,
the
and she
board.
talked to him over the phone,
And I
and they don't
talked to
really have
Mr.
one on that side.
Allen, and,
The state farm.
right now, I think he's not ready to
They're
make a
the ones that
decision
actually have to approve
because
the
of
study
prior
first.
responsibilities that
Now,
he
when I
had.
started seeing the
But
fire
they
marshal,
also
him,
said we
myself,
did not
and
necessarily need to have a
contractor's gonna meet out
board
there, hopefully
member,
this week on the Wednesday.
commissioner. We could get a reliable person out in the community that would
I think
report back to us, give us
it's
the
Wednesday,
information
but,
and share.
you
So
know,
depending
all
on what
the
route
friends
we
be on their
decide
site
to
and talk
take,
about it.
if
Because
we
in
don't
their
have
plans,
a
they're
board
wanting to
member
put up
that's able to attend the
essentially
meetings in
2
Atlanta,
gallon diesel
Columbus,
tank out there in the
we
property.
can go ahead and appoint
Which has
someone
hazardous
from the
material.
community that would report
They
back
have to
to
get an
us.
okay from us.
So,
Well,
it's-
in no
if
plans, it
Mr.
doesn't say
Allen
what
is not
construction
able to
or
make
the
a
location
commitment,
of
and I
where they
think
want to
Steve
put
is
it.
not,
Usually,
and I
talking
haven't
about
mentioned
diesel
it to Mr.
for the
Lamar,
generator,
but they
there'll be
need
a belly
a
tank underneath
person
there.
kind of.
But I would feel more comfortable if they gave, say, you know, if it's double wall construction, you know, more in-depth, you know, how they're gonna.
Right, I understand.
Put up a tank out there. So I talked to State Farm Marshal, and he's gonna meet with us up there.
And I don't think, they only meet quarterly, so
Process
it's
goes to them
not
first,
like
and
we're
come
going
out
into
with
the month.
jurisdiction
But
thereafter.
it's said because of my job
They kinda
responsibility,
waited
I'm just not able to.
Long time, I
go
guess the
during
construction was
time.
gonna start in January, but kind of wait until behind the, you know. But that's what we're doing, so if y'all had some ordinance and regulations on some of that stuff, I'd like to know about some, when I'm trying to go out there and do the fire safety analysis. I have a clue, but I don't get off sidetracked with y'all.
What was your question, Ms. Bella Dorset, Ms. Bella Dorset, she requested.
That's what I was trying to find mine, just give it to you.
If I can't, can we appoint one of the ladies to go?
You got it?
Somebody's willing, we can do it.
That's what I can kind of
As
look
I
at this and
said,
say,
it's the only thing,
gotta follow y'all's
and
orders,
I don't know
so
that way.
we need to go back and do that right first.
I mean, only thing that reason why I forgot because I was having a problem with the lady and I couldn't attend the meeting.
We're also trying to get this week some vendors for that engine we got from Clay County before she came with nothing.
I
So
enjoy going,
there's minimum equipment we gotta purchase for this, so
because I always bring stuff back.
I've got
I wouldn't let them
municipal equipment
take too much.
and 2 other vendors coming, and then we're just talking to other ones out of the phone, individual supplies, whatever.
You won't get it.
We're gonna get the NFP 1901 standard of what that
Steve, what
fire
about,
has to have just to run.
and just listen,
What if we don't
because I
have
know
meet
you
that
had gone
we've got?
previously.
We're gonna get new quotes from these folks.
I was suggesting that we just appoint Laurie
Bring it back next month for y'all. to look
temporarily.
at.
Yeah, and I,
Hopefully,
if,
that
things go
budget
as
will do this.
planned,
Just take it out of the PPE that we have in there to replace, because we got the same grant for PPE. We
So,
should probably reallocate that.
I'll make that a motion that we appoint Laurie as our enrichment service board member.
You'll have a lot for us.
A second, okay. And with that, we'll leave it open, Wesley, if you